All right, BarstoolBuddhas, and we're back to the dismay of some, the delight of a few. I'm Jai.
Rip.
So we've been gone for a long time, and we say that a lot. But this is our 22nd episode. So if we keep on this way, we'll have done 24 in 24 months, which was a lot fewer than we thought we would do. But we kind of pace ourselves.
It takes time.
Stuff goes on.
Life.
Life happens. So anyway, today, since we're back, we've been watching the world go to hell. We did the election special.
Yeah, that was not special.
It wasn't special enough for me, but since then, things have gotten really crazy. The war in Europe's getting bigger and bigger, and all the other stuff that's going on is just craziness. And so, like I said, we may start reading children's stories on this thing instead. It's just, you can find all this commentary about what's going on everywhere.
Exactly.
But this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So anyway, today we want to talk about something that we think may be of value. We look around and we're like everybody else. We moan and groan and bitch about everything that's going on. What can we do? I hate this is happening. Why don't they stop? Why can't we do this? So that's always been the way it is. Mm-hmm. But it seems it's really intensified. The internet has really, shows like this really jack up people, not necessarily ours, but and stir people up, TikTok things.
Well, just all the individual posts and the individual videos. It's just all people doing their thing. And
it gives the illusion of authority. Mm-hmm. When you're on TV, in my generation, anything that was on TV was true and wonderful. And so
we grew up
some of that still kind of hits people. It's coming across the internet.
Oh, it must be true.
I'm important. And then it goes from, this is wonderful, I'm important, to, I'm the authority. You've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anybody with a microphone. Now, I'm not going to offend my Indian buddies because I love them to death, but we always had a thing when we went to these kirtans and things and meetings, never give an Indian a microphone. You have to wrestle it out of his cold, dead hands. It's the same kind of thing. When you come from a country with 1.5 billion people and you get a chance to say what you want to say, it might be the only time you ever get heard. So, that's the thing that people say, oh, it's my turn to be heard.
Yep.
Boy, do I have something to say. Maybe. So, the thing that really, we talked about this, is that what could make this better? What do we have as an experience and a tool that we can all get along to some extent? Outside of killing each other or a war or abusing or violating or violence of other people. What do you think it is? Tolerance. And there used to be a pretty good amount of tolerance for most people. I was doing me, you were doing you. And when we crossed the line, we say, hey, you've crossed the line. I don't agree with you. Please stop. And if you don't stop, I'm not going to have anything to do with you. I'm going to walk away. Now they hit you in the head, or they
shoot you,
or they cancel you, or they malign you, or whatever. You lose your job, whatever. Tolerance is the Teflon we need right now. We need to put it back in.
Yeah,
it's the glue that binds liberty and freedom for all in this country, and it did it for years. Now, again, not for everybody. There's always the disaffected. There's always the marginalized people, but the goal was in this society that tolerance was expected.
Yeah, and it was taught.
It was taught for you to have what you want, and I to have what I want. Minus all the outside the pale things. We gave each other that. Yeah. You didn't like me. I ain't talking to that SOB anymore. I don't want to talk to him. And you didn't. I didn't care. You didn't care. Yep. We just went our own way. That doesn't happen anymore. Yep. Personal space and place for everyone versus the common good is turned into mob tyranny.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's instead of a pot of warm water they're all floating around in, it's on boiling, man.
Oh, yeah.
And you're done. You're cooked, So there's a paradox. We talked about this. I told you about Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
You guys need to look up Simon. I don't agree with everything Simon says. Never did. Never went along with it either. I didn't wait for him to say Simon says. I did what I wanted. Right? Did you don't wait for something?
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, he noted a paradox. That human beings are one among many human beings. We have an individual side that we want to feed, nurture, and make first, and then we have the community. Because human beings don't have fur, They don't have claws. They don't have big teeth, except me. I got big teeth. But I couldn't survive in the jungle.
No.
Right?
People needed each other.
People need each other. They still need each other. They don't think they do, but they do. And so, as Spock said in one of the Star Treks, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
Right.
And sometimes that's true, yes and no. The trick is it's a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high wire balancing act with little or no net. Yeah. With 8 billion people on the planet, if we don't tolerate people, the violence is going to get out. And you see what's going on in the world. It's cracking everywhere.
It is.
There's no tolerance. We'll say no. I have tolerance. I learned how to turn off the volume. Mm-hmm. But so Simon Sinek was bringing out the point that Maslow has a hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid. Right. Self-realization being the top, actualization being the top. He said you could also flip that, and it's true when you talk about society.
Right.
And somewhere, maybe it needs to be a circle instead of a pyramid with the greater good in the middle. I don't know how that works, but I do know that this is not working now. Yeah. So you've got so many individuals, and that goes back to the internet thing. I have a channel. I'm speaking. I'm the authority. Well, I'm speaking to people that I couldn't reach before. That doesn't mean that I know something you don't know. Doesn't mean that I'm better at it than you are. Doesn't mean that I have authority over your thought process. It's a conversation as such. But the conversation piece has been lost. It's people making pronouncements. They're just screaming
just
at people.
Pounding away at the podium.
It's that way. It's a drunk preacher.
Yep.
That's what it is. Yeah. I'm not a preacher, and I'm not much of a drunk, so I can't even get that done right. So, but the goal is not only can we coexist, we have to coexist. And we have to contribute with each other. You know, I'm not a big globalist person, but the globalist initiative, to a degree, made everything work for everybody. You could live in Germany, and you might have one resource, and you need 3 to be successful.
Right.
Those resources were being shipped around.
Correct.
So it opened the possibility for prosperity across the whole planet. Now, that was a good side of globalism. What they're talking about now is not great.
Social control
of everything. No, you know, everybody can't be the same because everybody isn't the same. And you start pounding these people into a round hole, there's going to be a lot of dead corners falling off. It's not going to work. So, you know, we look at that, you know, we need to have a sane view and an interaction with a shared reality to some extent to get along.
Yep. Going
along to get along. And being tolerant of those who aren't going our way. And there's a warning for this. You know, we talked about Friedrich Nietzsche several times before, and he espoused the death of God. Well, I don't know if he actually meant the God. I think he was pretty much an atheist, but the concept of the God as the authority structure, the millenniums-long church and how it ruled the world and as a structure, power structure, was coming to an end.
Right. And what replaces it?
That was his big thing.
That was
what's going to replace it. And interestingly enough, very few years, maybe around the same time, I don't know the exact timelines, here comes Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels.
Secularism and
communism, which looked like a good thing. When you look at what the church did and the monarchies did, they held everything, and there was peasants or there were kings. And so that was a balancing act. But it went the other way too far.
Right.
So I think in some way we're trying to get the other way, but we're in that swing, and it's going to be nasty for a while. But the point is that you've got to do something that fills that void. And we're in the middle of some stuff. And when individual authority meets the internet, what do you get? You get millions of little God kings making pronouncements. Some have impact. Some people listen. Some people have a proclivity for leading. Some have a proclivity for following. And there's not a lot of balance in there on a lot of people. So it gets real interesting. We get lost along the way, and because people are looking for something better. Like a man's reach should exceed his grasp. Goethe. We're all looking for that higher place, that better life, that better person. And we look for it everywhere, maybe unconsciously. You know, when we go to the grocery store and you look at 3 brands of toothpaste, you're looking for the better toothpaste, right? People do that. They're looking for the best. They're looking for what works in their life and how it makes a better life.
But too many people are holding on to things that really have no meaning for creating a better world.
That's true. And, you know, I mentioned about one of our friends, he was aggravating the hell out of us in our club. And we had some issues with the fellow, but it came to me one day and I said to you know, he's going on and on and on and on about the football season. Never seen him so excited he might have a stroke. And remember what I said to you?
I can't remember.
I said, give him some slack. That's probably all he has.
Yeah.
People fill the space in their life with something,
Yeah.
whether it's stock cars, women, drugs,
Yeah.
a good
Alcohol.
job, a career, having a nice family. Something seeks to fill that space. And people are in different places and having a hard time getting it. They'll take what they can get.
Yeah.
And so you have to be a little tolerant of that, right? So, you know, this was a big week.
Yeah.
What happened on Monday?
MLK Day.
MLK Day. And for those of you who don't know, that's Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. And my question is, Martin, where are you when we need you?
Yeah.
He had a great philosophy. He did a lot of great things for people of color. Back then, we call them black people or colored people or whatever it was. People of color. He stood up. He challenged the authorities to get some equality.
Yeah.
And his word was equality. It wasn't equity.
Equity.
It was equality. You know, he judged people by character, not color. Now, as opposed to me, I don't judge people by their color. I judge people by the bullshit that comes out of their mouth. That's just me.
Look at it.
But, you know, color, politics, gender, ethnicity, all those things, you know, Dr. King's message was one of the great messages in the world, along with Gandhi and all the other folks who came and did great things. But he's been co-opted.
He absolutely has been.
The movements that are using his name are just they've put a bumper sticker on their car, called it MLK, and they're driving it around in the worst kind of way. It's gonna cause a crash. And
It's name, image, and likeness being used.
Oh yeah, he's
getting nothing from it.
You know, and I'm just like, you know, you got something really valuable. Don't co-opt it. Do what you want with it. But so that was a good time to reflect on his message and where is his message?
Yeah.
Where's the true message now? So
David Crosby this week.
yeah, David died, you know, a long time coming, going to be a long time gone. There's a Buddhist philosophy for you. But he was 81 years old and he had by all measures, a very successful life. It was very influential with music. Apparently, he didn't get along with a lot of people.
Sounds like he's a little bit complicated, though.
Yeah, what a nice word. He was complex, not complicated. He was complex. Everybody else thought he was complicated.
Yeah, okay. That's the definition.
But he went, you know, and he had a liver transplant years ago. And
Long time ago.
He snorted whole mountain ranges of cocaine and still survived to 81. I wonder how that makes the DEA feel. But we're going to miss him and his music, but we still have it. That's great. Our modern technology, we can listen to him till we're 81, if we can still hear. Jeff Beck died.
Yeah.
Another massive talent from the 60s and on. And we're losing somebody every day.
Yeah, we're getting older, and so are they.
People are just going and going. So we don't mean to just select David Crosby, but he was one of our personal favorites from that time in our life when we really got into music and things. And we wish him well wherever he is, whatever, and his family.
Now, on a shorter note.
Yeah, someone of much less stature and importance, Prince Harry. Yeah, or the husband formerly known as Prince.
That's good. Yeah.
So we're talking about his book, Spare. And so he has a story in there I've labeled The Prince and His Todger. This is what he calls his penis. So if you haven't heard the story, he went to the Antarctica and did some of his princely duties with the penguins, I guess. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But he got his...
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know what the hell he was doing down there. You don't take it out and pee in the Antarctic. This just doesn't work. So anyway, he got frostbite penis, which he calls his todger. I guess it's a British thing. Maybe it's a royal thing. Maybe it's a title. The Royal Todger. Anyway.
Penis.
I guess a king could be the royal penis because he supplies the heirs and the spares.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, this is These are fondle memories of mom and face cream.
Fondle.
Yeah, fondle memories. So Harry was listening to one of his friends who told him, look, you can get the feeling back in your Todger if you use this particular kind of cream. It will stimulate the circulation, whatever. And, that iceberg of a wife is probably not going to get that done. But
that may be how I got frostbite.
anyway, so he's telling this in his book. It's part of his book. This guy's supposed to be a royal. He's going to deliver messages to the world, to right the world's wrongs, tell everybody how he got kind of screwed over. And he starts talking about rubbing this cream on his penis.
And he realizes this cream is the same cream that his Princess Diana, his mother, used to use on her lips. And so he expresses that while he was putting the cream on, he was having memories of his mother putting cream on her lips. And I'm thinking, has this guy ever heard of Freud? And why in the hell would you tell everybody on the planet this with this giant expose? That's not the kind of exposing we really wanted to know about. So No.
What a guy, man.
I can do without hearing anything about them.
And he's going to carry on. He named his book Spare. He's a spare.
Yeah.
We don't need spares. I guess that's the point. He's not needed, right?
Right.
Even my Nissan didn't come with a spare. It's an anachronism. Just call somebody. They fix your tire.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that poor guy. And that book has sold somewhere between 1.5 million, 2 million copies since it came out. It's just full of nonsense. Really. This poor guy, he has no credibility. If he quit his wife today and moved back to England, the British would probably hang him, put him in stocks. Wouldn't it be great? I don't know who would be treating his Todger if he's in stocks.
Most of the Brits love the royal family.
Yeah, they're not living
Part of
him
the
much.
tradition.
So we thought we'd throw that in there because, no matter how high you get, no matter what your status, you can really do stupid shit. You can really knock the blocks out from under you, and I want to be tolerant. The guy is having a hard life. Right, wrong, I don't know. He's having a really hard way to go.
It's kind of self-inflicted, though.
Well, he's probably doing well in the evenings in his $16 million mansion, looking at these 150-foot screen TVs and talking to his movie star friends. But pain transcends anything you have. So let's give him a little bit of room there.
Just give him some space.
Just take him off TV, please.
I've gotten to where if I see anything about it, I just skip over it and go read something else. I don't need to know any of that stuff.
So I'm looking at the screen. I'm trying to see the screen without my glasses. I was hoping I'd turned on the filming. It's one of those days. Speaking of new things, this is just past the Lunar New Year, which is the Chinese New Year, right? So if you'll recall 2 or 3 years ago, that's when they sent everybody out to visit the relatives. 400 million Chinese travel on that 2-week period.
And what happened right after that?
They went to Europe and spread the COVID. And that's pretty much a fact. It's not supposition. So they're doing it again. So, they're...
What do you call it? PCR?
PCR, perpetual COVID reinfection. Yeah, they're sharing their crowning creation with the world again, but the world's not having it much.
A lot of countries are not letting them in.
And they're just weeping and wailing like, how can you do that to us?
They're putting upon us.
Yeah. Stay home, make more iPhones. Well, what you do? So, on the COVID thing.
The vaccine trials?
On the vaccine trials. Some of them, we don't know which trials it is. We quit listening before, but they're trialing some this, that. Pfizer's trying to find a way to make money in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And some of those trials have gotten suspended because I don't know if it's the CDC or the FDA, somebody doesn't like them. But, myocarditis is in fact killing a lot of people that it didn't used to kill.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's caused by Pfizer's wonder drug, but some people are. And, like I said, myocarditis, roasting by a clogged artery. A lot of people are dying young, a lot of sports figures.
Oh, yeah, a lot of young,
dying.
healthy athletes.
I don't say for sure that's what it is. I don't know.
I
got something happen to me since I had the virus injections there. It's an autoimmune situation, which I didn't have. Now, to be fair, you can develop any time in life. Anything will happen. But, 5 weeks after I get my second injection, I've got this problem. that nobody in my family ever had. Nobody lives on my block has. I didn't catch it on a bus. I didn't catch it from somebody's girlfriend. It came to me in the injection. That's my theory. So, that stuff's going on. There's something going on, and you see a lot of movement on that. So people still trying to get you to wear masks. Oh. And, like I said, you do you, I'll do me.
Yeah.
We all know the mask doesn't work, so it's not like he's wearing the wrong color shirt. What do? He has no fashion sense. That's kind of the thing. Let it go. Let it go. Now, if he comes up to you and starts slapping you around because you ain't got a mask on, now that's something else you have to do. So I saw a few more people this week when I traveled with masks. Not a lot, but it's a lot of the older people.
Yeah.
And who can blame them, I'm an older people. But I can see that. You get somebody who's already got respiratory issues, they got a heart problem, and they're just doing everything they can to stay alive.
Yeah.
You got to love that. But when you see somebody, I went to Nashville. I'm on I-40, middle of nowhere. There's a guy in a Beamer. Got to be 95 years old. I mean, I swear. By himself, windows up, mask and a shield on.
Mask and a shield.
Mask and a shield. I don't know. But he's doing him.
Yep.
I'm doing me. I got the window down, the music up. Me and my son running down the road looking for Buc-ee's.
Head hanging out the window like a dog.
Looking for Buc-ee's. So, we want to circle back to values now as kind of close out.
Yeah.
You got to sort through valuables. You got to find the valuable and separate it from the virulent.
Yeah.
Okay? There are people who have values, really bad values. Even a mass murderer has some values, but that's what I call virulent.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know where your values are, what makes them, how you're going to try to live with them. Who and what is influencing you.
Yeah.
There's so much coming at us. You're watching this right now. You better be on guard. So,
where are your values originating from, and what sources do you get them from?
Well,
are you taught them by your family? Your
used to be
faith?
society. You lived in a society that had common values. You had a church or a value proposition from somewhere. Your family had learned things. You were trained up a certain way. Then you had experience in life that meshed with that experience, with the knowledge, and you came to some kind of wisdom.
Right.
It works. It doesn't work. Don't touch the stove.
Yeah.
Every kid I've ever known
touch the stove.
Touch the stove. It's unfortunate that we can't learn things from other people as well as we do ourselves, but that's the way it is. Yep. And values are kind of like that. They can be passed on, but if they're not understood and lived and proven for you, you're going to fall into something. You're going to follow something. Be careful of what you listen to. Yeah. Be careful what you follow. Measure it against some reality in your life. So you got to do that. And that comes to our last point today. The diversity, equity, and inclusion.
DEI.
It should be diversity, inclusion, and equity. Die. Because it's killing society. It doesn't mean to. Like we said, I don't have any problem about diversity.
Right.
What do you think about diversity? What'd you call it? Our country? The melting pot.
Oh, yeah. It's a phrase you don't hear.
What is diversity? A melting pot, but a diversity of different things going into one thing and becoming this soup, or whatever you want to call it, that was this country. Any country. You've got people coming in. Diversity is not a bad thing.
Right.
We learn from people that we don't know.
It helped build this country.
Other people have ideas, have viewpoints that we can learn from, and they will actually help with our values. Right. We just have to balance it out. The inclusion. I think that everybody in this country, everybody in the world, you want to drive a red car, you want to have this job, you want to have that, you should have the quality of the opportunity to do that and be included in that society. That to me is like breathing air. Everybody should have that, But the one that's the cancer is what?
Equity.
Equity is nothing more than Marxism. It's taking from Peter to pay Paul. Now, we all do that with taxes, and if the taxes are equitable, and that's a financial term, by the way, equitable, where the rules on how things go are understood, acknowledged, and accepted by everyone.
Right, and fair.
So you have that. But equity in social standpoint, the way they're pushing it now, means that if Rip here makes $5 an hour and Jai makes 10, I got to give him $2.50. That's equity.
Now, he doesn't do anything else for that 250
Right.
except needs it. And I didn't do anything to have it taken to me except I had it.
Right.
From each according to his means, to each according to his need. That's basic Marxism. Now, some of that we do, even in the Bible, you were supposed to leave 10% of the crops in the field for the poor. Got no problem with that. But to mandate that everything in your life is based upon that is insane. And I had to take training in my job.
We've done it.
And I don't disagree with some of the philosophy behind some of it, but that piece of it really bothers me because it robs the individual of motivation. If you look at places, Chicago, New York, around, in every city now, where you've got, they're basically ghettos and slums. They started out in the Great Society in the 60s as housing projects, housing low income people people didn't have something. But it became basically warehousing.
Yeah.
And it came with its own culture. It bred a lot of the drug culture. It bred a lot of the gang violence and hopelessness. If you were a 20-year-old woman and you had a child getting food stamps and all that stuff, and you wanted more, the only way you could do that was to have your baby daddy sell more drugs or
Get out
you
of
to
there.
have more children, and they'd pay you a little more for each child. So you find these young mothers in some of these places with 4 or 5 children trying to live off that subsistence. That's a dead-end road for everybody involved.
Exactly.
People will try to find a way. And if you've got them in a situation where that's the only way, they're going to have to take that way.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things that happen with this equity and all this stuff. Instead of motivating and allowing for the system to accommodate more people, we just warehoused a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so that's a really bad thing. So people think that it's a good thing. They thought really important people thought this is the way to go. This is fair. This will work. It'll get these people out of poverty very quickly, but you'll keep them at that level forever. Yeah. So, it's like we talked about. You can look at a cobra and say, isn't that a pretty snake? It's beautiful to look at. Can I pet it? You don't want to do that. And somebody said, even a tiger cub is cute.
Till it gets hungry.
Yeah. So to wrap up today, we're going to go back to Dalai Lama again.
Yeah.
All beings want a happy life. And that's everything. Every bug, every dog, every cat, every rhinoceros. They want to eat. They want to mate. They want to have a life without fear. Everything on the planet really aspires to that. And they will go get it where they can or they think they can. So we want to try to create a society. And like I said today, tolerance. With the crowd we have on the planet today and all the stuff, we need to take a deep breath and take one step back and give somebody else a little space.
Yeah.
And promote them doing the same thing. So
we all got to get along or the end is near.
It's like Jim Morrison said, future's uncertain.
The end is always near.
The end is always near. That's some certainty for you. What you do tomorrow may or may not happen. What you do today may or may not happen, but it's going to happen. And then there'll be an end to that. There'll be an end to everything, just like Dave Crosby.
Yeah.
Long time gone, buddy. Do what you can while you're here. Make it a better place. Be tolerant. Find a reason this week if you watch this, and you're in a situation like I find myself in the back of a grocery line with somebody who has to write a check after standing in that line for 15 minutes, and they get up there and they still haven't got the checkbook up. You got to think that's their way. That's what they know. And I got to give them that space. And sometimes you got to really give to get that done.
Yeah.
But then, there's
sometimes you've got to give a little bit more than you're going to get back.
Well, if you're looking for a quid pro quo, getting back exactly what you give, you're probably right. But, things come back to you in ways when you don't expect them.
Exactly.
And you think, whoa, is that kind of my turn, good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
If you think about that, it's your turn in the barrel once in a while. Just try to pick the barrel. That's all you can do. The barrel's coming for you. So I think that's pretty much all we have for today. What about you?
We're good. Tolerance and values, people.
Yep. And if you tolerated this for 30 minutes, you're well on your way. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.